Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
I apologize for failing to provide a proper warning before showing you that clip. I'm sure some of you guys were emotionally bothered by this blatant act of disrespect. And I know for certain the wanker spankers in the woke media who hate watch this channel, tears are now wetting their beards as they once again lose control over their irrational emotions. I'm so sad. The effects of toxic masculinity have infected the White House. Our matriarch, our princess, our queen. She is being accused of packing Franken beans. Josh Hokit, the UFC fighter who questioned the biological gender of Michelle Obama, he is now being charged with the crime of misgendering, which is a very serious violation of the woke commandments. Deacons at Woke United Methodist have grabbed their pitchforks along with their supersized wiener, and they are now demanding that Josh Hokit be canceled. Was his remark about Michelle Obama necessary? No. Was it classless? Was the subject of her gender mentioned in the wrong time, wrong place? Yes. Did it put a very light stain on an otherwise excellent event by Don Trump and Dana White in the UFC? Probably so. However, Uncle KC ain't buying this fake outrage that we are seeing throughout the mainstream media. For starters, aren't Michelle and Barry Obama big believers in gender fluidity? Gender is fluid. One day you're he, the next day you're she. One day you're Faye, the next day you're Ray. 3 years ago, Barry Obama posted this heartwarming message on Transgender Day of Visibility. I guess for 364 days, Tran Dan feels like he is invisible. Except, of course, the 30 days of Pride Month, along with the other 60 or so days on the woke calendar, set aside to celebrate identifiers. But the other 264 days, I guess Dan doesn't feel seen. So the Obamas, they celebrate Dan on his quest to become Danielle on Transgender Day of Visibility. So if I'm understanding this correctly, Barry and Michelle, they are supportive of plus plus. They are supportive of @. They encourage questioning Quentin to explore the fluidity of his or her gender. But when those same questions are asked of Michelle Obama, that is no bueno. Am I understanding this correctly? Over the last 36 hours, the woke media has expressed their uncontrollable outrage. The symptoms of OMB, or it's been bad! The symptoms of stage 4 OMB have reached record high levels. Woke Memorial Hospital filled to capacity. Pretend Dr. Jill Biden, she has run out of placebos to treat this devastating disease. According to the media, you are not allowed to question whether this beautiful woman is a man. Are you a biologist? Are you trained and board certified in gender identification? In a civilized society, name calling like this is unacceptable. What? Excuse me? Name calling is unacceptable? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't this the same media that's referred to Don Trump and his supporters as Nazis? Isn't this the same media that labeled ICE agents as the Gestapo? Isn't this the same media that modernized the Wizard of Oz? Fascist, racist, misogynist, oh my! For the better part of 10 years, us normal people have been forced to inhale these toxic mouth farts. In dominant woke dumps like New York City or the People's Republic of California, the air in the streets, which used to be contaminated by smog, for the last decade or so, it has been contaminated by toxic boodle breeze. You don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. Check out some of these overreactions to the UFC event Sunday night. Now, in the interest of diversity, I made sure to include the responses of yentas along with a dude who is acting like a yenta. Watch for yourself.
There's a certain network that says athletes shouldn't, don't bring sports into politics into sport.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. She happened to be low-hanging fruit. And all you did was perpetuate a racial stereotype that you've been saying for years. They said the same thing about Venus and Serena. Every time a black woman becomes something, others, some people from that side, try to take a shot at them. When is it going to be enough?
For a long time, and the roots are in slavery, black women have been slurred and made to feel that they were unattractive, made to feel that they were masculine, made to feel that they didn't have the femininity that a white woman would have. And so there's this intersectionality between racism and sexism that was on full display at the White House. The crowd laughed at the statement, and the President of the United States smirked. That is beneath the dignity of the office of the President of the United States, and it's beneath the dignity of the American people.
If you think anything about this is cool, or American, or manly, I have to assume you are so slow I could time you with a fucking calendar. Nothing about this is cool. Well, you just don't like it because you're a liberal, and liberal men aren't masculine. Listen here, shitbag. I lift every day. I've done boxing and jiu-jitsu on and off for years, and I used to watch the UFC pretty religiously until I realized that 90% of the fighters and a good chunk of the fans are racist, rapists, woman beaters, or right-wing shitbags.
I lift weights. I'm trained in the art of jiu-jitsu. I'm a man, damn it. Why don't you believe me? Maybe it's hard to believe because you're having an emotional meltdown over something that has absolutely no effect on you. I don't know who that dork was, but I'm very familiar with the other two emotional outbursts. The first came from Shannon Sharp. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay. And the other came from Uncle Casey's personal favorite yenta, Asuncion. Oh. How I've missed the beautiful face of Sun Hostin. It has been a while. Hell, it's been months since we have talked about the yentas on The View. Believe it or not, the grown man who calls himself Shay and the radiant yenta who compares herself to sun rays, they actually made a good point. Shannon Sharp is right. Politics have no place in sports. If John Biden had this same event at the White House, which would never happen, instead of hosting the UFC, John Biden was inviting the LGBT to the White House. But if the roles were reversed, and someone said the same thing about Melania Trump, conservative media would be outraged. I know this for a fact, because the woke media is constantly disparaging Melania Trump, and conservatives are rightfully pissed off about it. Which is why I'm struggling to believe this fake outrage, manufactured outrage, that we are seeing in the woke media over Michelle Obama. According to Sun Hostin, this comment was beneath an event that was held at the White House. This was not the time and place. I don't disagree. Even though I think it was clearly a joke, even though I kind of laughed when he said it, if we're being real here, this wasn't the time and place to say something like this. If Josh Hokit wants to make this joke on some doofus podcast, who cares? But at an event at the White House, which was supposed to be unifying, it just wasn't the time and place. Now, that being said, the problem I have with Sun Hostin and the grown man who, for reasons unknown, calls himself Shay, along with Jamel Hill and many others in the media, they are trying to make this about race. I wonder why. As you guys know, the business of mythical racism has been bankrupted. Several years ago, the mainstream media desperately attempted to create new stars based on their marginalized status. The originator of the term huge embarrassing failure, Bomani Jones, the Wicked Weave, Joy Reid, Jemele Hill, they laid the foundation of their media careers based on the myth that America, and especially the white man, is inherently racist. Shannon Sharpe will be successful with or without mythical racism. Unfortunately, ABC continues to give a mainstream platform to the yentas on The View. But if you remove topics about racism from the show, the yentas would have nothing else to talk about. But failures like Jemele Hill, she needs the business of mythical racism to be revived, because without it, her media career cannot survive. Since being fired from ESPN, every project Jemele Hill has been involved with has ended in huge embarrassing failure. She hosted a show on Vice with Carrie, the champion of failure. Speaking of the champion of failure, Carrie and Smelly Jameli, they have recently relaunched that show on YouTube. Their most recent episode, which was posted yesterday morning, it was also given free publicity from their pretend friends in the mainstream media because of her comments about the UFC event at the White House. But all of that free publicity, it led to 1,700 views in 16 hours. Failure. Remember when Jemele Hill was going to be the face of CNN Plus? Remember a few years ago when CNN was launching a streaming service, they were demanding that people pay for access to the garbage that they weren't watching for free on cable. Smelly Jameli was promoted as the face of CNN Plus. Unfortunately, she was never given the opportunity to release her first episode because CNN Plus went bankrupt 3 weeks after they launched. Failure. A couple years ago, Jemele Hill was given another opportunity in sports media. Keyword, given. Instead of putting Smelly on TNT, Turner Sports, they buried Jemele Hill on True TV where they knew no one would see her. Obviously, this also ended in failure. Point is, there are a lot of people in media who are desperate to revive the business of mythical racism, which is why they are trying to make this Michelle Obama controversy all about race. But it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with gender. Uncle KC, that's not true. According to Son Hostin, these comments are rooted in the era of slavery. You expect me to believe Josh Hokit made these comments about Michelle Obama because he was influenced by something that happened 200 years ago? Not everything is rooted in history. Not everything requires some elaborate explanation. Maybe, just maybe, this was an offensive joke told at the wrong place and the wrong time, and no deeper explanation is required. Again, I am not buying this fake outrage in the media. This is the same media that disparages conservative women like Riley Gaines. They disrespect Melania Trump. They support men and women's sports. But as soon as Michelle Obama is disrespected, I'm supposed to believe that they are defending the honor of women? Uncle KC ain't buying it. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.